Hi guys, my name is Carolyn, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be part 2 of my August reading wrap up. The first section of the video is the last part of the video from my wrap up part 1. I felt that the video was slightly too long, so I'm going to add that to this video, and the second part of this video is going to be the rest of the books that I read in August. The next 3 books I listened to as audiobooks. The first one was Rain Falling by Paula Mariano. This was a motorcycle club contemporary romance. I had mixed feelings about this one. At first, it started quite well. I quite liked the narrator. The story seemed to be really good. I was really liking the heroine, and there were times when it was really good and times when it was really bad. The writing was quite repetitive. Not only it was repetitive, but that the author used the lines of repetition as meant to be an emphasis on what the person had just said, and a lot of what they said was then repeated with a swear word, such as the main guy turned to the woman in his mind and was thinking, I love her, and then he'd say, I fucking love her, and it would do that for a lot of the narration. I also think that because most of the time it was from the point of view of the heroine, we didn't really get to know or understand the hero, Diego. I felt as though he was on the wrong side of the alpha male sort of hero. He was very dominating. There was a trope in there that I hate, and that is when a guy says, tell me to stop now because it'll come to the point when I won't be able to, or I want you so badly I'm gonna take you whether you want it or not. I don't like that because that's rape, and I know that the author is going for unbridled passion, but I've read a lot of romance now, and I've read a lot of really good romance that can give that passion and that lust and that wanting to get down to it right now without going to that particular trope. There was a lot of that, and so the hero, I couldn't quite get on board with him. So I listen to this at night when I'm in bed. That's when I listen to my audiobooks the majority of the time, and sometimes I can listen to an hour or 2 hours. It depends how I'm feeling or whether insomnia is going to hit or not. But sometimes it does help me get to sleep, and there are times when I have fallen asleep with the audio obviously still playing, and this particular audiobook woke me up, and it was because the narrator was screeching at the top of her voice, and it was because Rain and Diego were having an argument. Now, I've listened to audiobooks that are able to show this by quietly giving an angriness to their voice, but this particular narrator literally shrieked, and it woke me up, and it was absolutely horrible. And I just thought, you know what, no, I'm not really getting on with this audiobook. So I did think about DNFing it, but I thought I want to know what happens, so I did, and I finished it. But I wouldn't recommend it. I gave it 2 stars, and yeah, I won't be carrying on with the series. The second audiobook I listened to was Pride and Prejudice. This was a reread for me, or a listen. I've read it quite a few times, but the last time I read it was a few years ago now, and I thought instead of rereading it again, I thought I would listen to it to get a different kind of experience from the book. And I'm glad I did, because I thoroughly enjoyed this performance. The narrator was really excellent, and I thought that she did an absolutely great job. The only thing that I would say is that occasionally she would make Elizabeth slightly more masculine rather than assertive in her tone of voice, but that was very rarely. It's only occasionally that she did that, and the majority of the time I thought she was an excellent narrator. I gave the story obviously 5 stars. I love Pride and Prejudice, and the narration I gave 4.5 stars. The next audiobook I listened to was another reread or listen. This was The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. I've read all of Oscar Wilde's plays and stories, apart from I think maybe a few of his short stories, but I love everything he's written. I think he's brilliant, and this play is just so funny, and I thought it would be a great one. Instead of again rereading, I would listen to it on audiobook, and I found a dramatised version of it, and it was so good. It has Judi Dench and Martin Clunes, who was fantastic. And I would say that this was a wonderful listen, and I would definitely recommend that you give it a go. Obviously for the story, I would give this 5 stars, but the audiobook as well, because of the narration and how brilliant it was, I would also give 5 stars. So if you want to give Oscar Wilde a go, I would definitely start with this audiobook, because it just had me laughing out loud. He's just a brilliant writer. The last audiobook that I listened to was a reread or a re-listen. I don't know really, but I've read I Am Legend by Richard Matheson a few times, and it's a 5-star read for me. It's one of my all-time favourite horror novels, and I listed it in my top 10 favourite horror books, and I'll link that video down below if you want to go and check it out. And I just think it's a really brilliant book, and I wanted to reread it, but I thought, you know what, I might try it in a different medium, so I maybe would be able to get something else from it. So I listened to it as an audiobook. Unfortunately, the guy that was reading was really slow, like really slow, and I was like, okay, come on, let's go. But he was just so slow, and for the first time ever, I racked up the speed to 1.25, and it was a lot better. However, I hate doing it because personally, I think the voice sounds so unnatural that it's not a pleasure to listen to anymore. But this time I had to, because this guy was so slow that I think I would have given up on the audiobook. So I thought, instead of doing that, let's speed him up, and it was better, and overall I did like the audiobook. So I may not recommend this particular recording, but I think there is another recording out there that maybe you could check out, but I would definitely recommend reading the book. So the last 2 books that I read in the last part of August were Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I can't say I like this book as much as I did the first book. I felt as though it was very formulaic. So it started out with Harry Potter with his aunt and uncle, and then he went to Hogwarts where there were things going on, and then there was the big sort of reveal and climax at the end. It was okay, but I can honestly say that I was bored through most of it, until that is, I got to the last 50 or so pages. That was when it became really exciting, and I really enjoyed the climax to it all, and there were not 1 but 2 plot twists that I didn't see coming, and I love it when that happens. So I gave this book 3 stars out of 5. I've been told that from book 3 the series really takes off, so I'm looking forward to cracking on with that one. But for this one, yeah, I can't say that I enjoyed it as much as the first book, but it was okay, and I will be continuing with the series. So the last book I read was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Oh, I love this book. I adored this book. It is beautiful and devastating. I just absolutely love it, and I have filmed a discussion video about this book, which I'm hoping to get up soon, but I did go on a lot, so the editing process is not going well, but I hope it's okay. It's the first discussion video I filmed, and yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't think I am as articulate and as eloquent as some of the other YouTubers with the book reviews that they've done of this book. But because I wanted to discuss the points in more detail, I decided to do a discussion video rather than a book review. So that will be coming up soon. But this is about a guy called Jude. He tells you about his life from when he was a little boy up until he was an adult. And it's also about the people that are around him in the days where it wasn't good and he was filled with horror and betrayal. But it carries on through to his adult life, where he's surrounded by many people who love him and care about him. This book is not for the faint of heart. It is very descriptive about difficult subjects, Yanagihara does not hold back. I love that about her writing. She wasn't frightened at all of putting it all out there, and I think it's a very brave piece of writing and thought-provoking, poignant and beautiful. It's about physical, mental and sexual abuse. It's about self-harming. It's about grief, acceptance, but it's also about love and friendship. I honestly adored this book so much. It really touched me. It makes me emotional and I still get emotional just thinking about it. Hold on a minute. Okay, sorted myself out. It really is an emotional read, and you have to be prepared for that and know that going in. It's not a light book, but to be honest, these are the type of books that change me, you know? They are the type of books that touch my heart so much, and that's what makes them just brilliant. And so I don't know if this will be the winner of the Booker Prize. It's long listed at the minute, but for me it's a winner because it's the best book I've ever read, and I think that the emotion that this shows is just a brilliant piece of writing. I don't know how she did it, and I blubbed through a lot of it. When I read the last sentence, I cried so hard because I felt as though I knew these people in here. Yanagihara is so good at drawing you in, and the characterization is so brilliant. It has such depth and poignancy that I just felt as though I knew these people, and so everything that happened, I felt as though it had happened to somebody I knew, and my reactions, not gonna cry, and my reactions were in that vein, and my heart ached, my chest ached when I read this book, and as I said, I cried hard when I finished it. So yeah, 5 stars, just beautiful. So that's it. They're all the books I read in August. I had the most amazing month of reading in August. I read 7 books, and one of them being a big book, so you know, it could be really 8 books, but no, I read 7 books and I listened to 4 audiobooks, which I think is pretty awesome. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.